The city was a study in contrasts. Sleek skyscrapers clawed at the heavens, their glass and steel facades reflecting the neon glow of sin that pulsed from below. Rain slicked streets reflecting the city lights in a kaleidoscope of broken promises. A haze of smog hung heavy in the air, a tangible representation of the city's collective sins. In the heart of this urban labyrinth, two figures circled each other, their game as old as time itself. One, cloaked in shadows, exuded an aura of power that felt both alluring and dangerous. His eyes, two burning embers in the darkness, held an ancient wisdom, a deep understanding of the darkest desires that lurked within the human heart. The other, wreathed in ethereal light, seemed to shimmer on the edge of perception. His gaze, filled with a sorrowful compassion, saw not just the darkness, but the potential for good that flickered like a dying ember within every human soul. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a palpable energy that spoke of a conflict far older than the city itself. Their battle was a timeless one, a cosmic chess match played out on the board of human existence. "You've grown complacent, brother," the figure of darkness purred, his voice a silken whisper that held the faintest hint of sulfur. "Humanity is mine for the taking. Their desires are easily manipulated, their souls ripe for the harvest." He gestured towards the city below, where a man in a crumpled suit stumbled out of a bar, his face etched with despair. They are lost in their own darkness, blind to the light. The figure of light sighed, his gaze filled with a sorrow that seemed to weigh heavily upon him. "They are not lost, brother, not yet." His voice was soft yet firm, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. "They may stumble, they may fall, but the potential for redemption remains within them. Always. Redemption?" The figure of darkness chuckled, a dry, humorless sound. "A fool's hope. They are driven by their desires, consumed by their own selfishness. They are mine, brother, and soon this world will be mine as well." The air in the alleyway was thick with the stench of decay and despair. A young woman, her face streaked with tears, clutched a crumpled photograph to her chest. She had lost everything, her job, her apartment, her hope. "Lost, are you?" a voice whispered in her ear. She spun around, her eyes wide with fear, but the alley was empty. "Don't be afraid," the voice crooned. "Closer now. I can help you. I can give you everything you've ever wanted." The young woman hesitated, her gaze darting around the alleyway. Her better judgment told her to run, but the promise in that voice was intoxicating. "Who are you?" she whispered. "A friend," the voice replied. "Just a friend." In a quiet corner of the city, bathed in the soft glow of dawn, a young man sat on a park bench, his head in his hands. He had been clean for 6 months, 6 long months of fighting his demons, but the cravings were back, clawing at the edges of his mind. He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to block out the whispers, the promises of oblivion. He just needed one hit, one taste to quiet the pain, just one. A feather drifted down from the sky, settling softly on the bench beside him. He opened his eyes, startled, and saw a figure standing before him, bathed in the soft light of the rising sun. The figure didn't speak, but the young man felt a sense of peace wash over him, a calmness he hadn't felt in what seemed like a lifetime. He reached out, his fingers brushing against the feather, and in that moment he knew he wasn't alone. Section 5, Checkmate in the City of Angels. The game continued, each move a delicate dance between darkness and light. The devil, a master of temptation, whispered his poison into the ears of the lost and the lonely, offering them false promises of power and pleasure. God, his heart heavy with compassion, offered guidance and forgiveness, a glimmer of hope in the encroaching darkness. Their battle raged on, invisible to the human eye, yet its consequences reverberated through the lives of every soul in the city. Every act of kindness, every moment of despair, every choice made, no matter how small, shifted the balance of power in their eternal game. But the city of angels, they say, is where dreams go to die. And in the heart of the city, on a rain-swept rooftop, the devil made his move. Section 6. Pawns in the game. He chose his pawn carefully, a man of power and influence, his soul already teetering on the edge of darkness. The devil whispered promises of ultimate power, of a world remade in his image. All he had to do was embrace the darkness within. The man, blinded by ambition and greed, readily agreed. He became the devil's instrument, spreading chaos and despair throughout the city. He manipulated the stock market, causing financial ruin for thousands. He fueled political unrest, turning neighbor against neighbor. He sowed the seeds of discord, watching with grim satisfaction as the city began to tear itself apart. The city, once a beacon of hope, was slowly being consumed by the shadows. Section 7. The Price of Choice. God watched the city's descent with a heavy heart. He could intervene, could strike down the devil and his pawn, but to do so would violate the very principles of free will he held sacred. Humanity had to choose its own path, even if that path led to destruction. He appeared to the young woman in the alley, now a shadow of her former self, consumed by addiction and despair. He offered her a way out, a chance for redemption, but she was too far gone, lost in the labyrinth of her own making. He visited the young man on the park bench, now strong and healthy, his life transformed by faith and perseverance. He saw the flicker of hope in the young man's eyes, the unwavering belief in a better tomorrow. But it seemed even that light might not be enough to pierce the encroaching darkness. Section 8. Reflections in a Broken Mirror. The rain continued to fall, washing away the grime and the glitter of the city, revealing the raw desperation beneath. The devil surveyed his handiwork and smiled. The city was on the brink, teetering on the edge of chaos. Soon it would be his. But as he watched the city crumble, a flicker of doubt, a sliver of something unfamiliar stirred within him. He had won countless times before, had watched countless civilizations crumble into ruin, but this time something felt different. Was it the young man's unwavering faith that gave him pause, or the memory of the young woman's lost potential that tugged at his ancient heart? For a brief moment he glimpsed the emptiness of his victories, the hollowness of a world devoid of hope. Section 9. An unending game. The game was far from over. The devil, his confidence shaken, retreated to the shadows, biding his time. God, his heart heavy with the weight of 1,000 choices, continued to walk among the lost and the lonely, offering solace and guidance. The city, scarred but not broken, slowly began to heal. The rain stopped and the sun broke through the clouds, casting a hopeful glow over the battered cityscape. The game would continue, as it always had. But for now there was a fragile peace, a moment of respite in the eternal struggle between darkness and light. The question of good and evil, of free will and destiny, remained as relevant as ever. The battle for the human soul raged on, not on a grand cosmic scale, but in the quiet moments of choice, in the everyday acts of kindness or cruelty that shaped the destiny of humankind. The game continues, and the outcome, as always, remains uncertain.